What's going on, everybody? So, with the conversion going to the 6 liter, the computer is already set up for drive-by-wire. Now, you can opt for going with the cable. It is completely what you got to know having to do with that though is obviously unlock it with HP tuners, and then this is with HP tuners now. I'm saying with the stock computer. Then you actually go in and actually go into the system and change from the one that's on electronic throttle control to a 0, so that it doesn't do that and it reads everything else. But then you got to right entire, and you know it's a thing. And what I'm about to do now is also a thing, so it's not like one's going to be easy or anything like that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and convert over, because when I got the engine, it was already drive-by-wire, so I already had some of the parts, but I did have to pick up a few things. So let's talk about what I had to do and what I had to pick up and what you're going to need as well, and why the drive-by cable won't work. So let's take a look at what we got here. So right here is a drive-by-wire intake manifold, and the way you know that is it actually has the fitting right here instead of on the actual throttle body. Because if you've seen one of these, and so this is the drive-by cable, as you can see, that fitting right here is on this instead. So once you take away this, then you have nothing to go there anymore, and that's why you go ahead and you have that intake manifold. Now, other than that, it's pretty much the same. It doesn't have. So other than that, it's pretty much the same. It doesn't have these spots right here, and it actually doesn't have this down here, so I didn't have to use that. But it did have this, so I had to use my block off plate there. And really, yeah, that was the only difference in the two. But you have to have that. Now, as you can see, the throttle body, you're also going to need a throttle body that is drive-by-wire as well. We just looked at the other one. It has drive-by cable. As far as up here, that is all you are going to need, except for the wiring harness. Now, if let's say you already ordered the drive-by-wire harness, then you're good. You already have everything you need except for this module. You're going to need to get this here module. This is the TAC module. So you're going to have to get that. You can go pick it up from, I found this in a Yukon Denali, because the Yukon Denalis came with electronic throttle and they came with the 6 liters. So anytime you're looking for something for the 6 liter, go check out a Yukon Denali. They're all over the place. At least up here, they're everywhere. But you're going to want the pedal, and you're also going to want the harness that goes from the pedal to here. Now, that will be this long girl right here, because I have a different pedal. We're going to get into that. But so this right here is the harness that actually goes and plugs into the plug itself, or the pedal, I mean. And then right here, this other one that comes out and goes and does all this stuff. So right here you have the connections that go to the computer. Orange is 14, blue is 15. This is the ground, so I'll tie it into the same ground that the wiring harness grounds go to. And then over here, obviously, you have your connection that goes to the electronic throttle body. So then there is also this red wire right here. You actually need a ignition voltage, so I'm going to tap into I have the switch for the ignition, so I actually have an end on right here where I'll be able to just tie that in there. And then there's a couple of wires up here for cruise. So these two wires, the gray with the black wire, and the gray wire with the black line, the blue wire, these are for cruise control. I don't need those. The light blue is for stop lamp. I'm gonna have a different setup for that, so I'm not too worried about that either. And then there's this right here. I don't know what that does. I could not find anything that mentioned anything about this gray wire, so I don't need it either apparently, because it doesn't go to this connection. It just goes to right here, and there's no gray wire coming out of here, so I don't know if it's something else. So it doesn't really matter to me unless it ends up mattering to me. But like I said, let's go ahead and first we're going to mount all of this stuff, and then we're going to mount the pedal. So let's go ahead and take care of this. Okay, so this is what we got going on here. We have our connection right here, which obviously runs down through here, and I had a lot of it, so I was able to just kind of be creative with where I wanted it. I wasn't really sure where everything was going to be lining up at, so I kind of like just played around, gave myself enough space. So got one of the, so there was a ground that came off of there. I tied that in same location that the wiring harness gets one of its grounds. One of these grounds also runs over to the engine, and there's an engine to the chassis. There's a whole lot of grounds going on, so grounds are not a problem. Let's see, now that's pretty much everything out here that we got to worry about, because we already talked about all the little components right there you're gonna need. So in here, as you can see, I have my little box right there. I was able to tuck it up out of the way. It obviously runs over here where we're going to be tying in a pedal here shortly. I removed that one right there, which if you're going to remove it, it is 3 10mm, well, 2 bolts and 1 nut, which ends up being a stud anyway. So that gets all of that out of the way to give you plenty of access to what you need right there. And we're going to get to that here in just a second. I'm going to show you how I mount it. I have a general idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to find out. But over here, wiring up this. So there's a pink wire that comes off of the, so what you're going to want to do is whenever you go there, just grab everything that you can. I actually got the entire harness, everything from the computer all the way up to the tack module, all the way to the throttle body and everything. I mean, there was no breaks in wires. It's not that hard to get it out. If you're at the junkyard, you can actually just take loose those looms, and you can actually get in there and get those wires out. Unless you already have a harness, like I said, if you already have a harness, then you're not having to go through this. But if you're like me and you're converting over from a cable to this, and you don't want to buy a whole nother $300 wiring harness or more, depending on where you got it, then this is the route you're going to go. So there are 2 wires that come from the ECU here. So it's going to be number 15 or 14 and 15. 14 is a orange and black, and 15 is a blue and white. So that's where those go, and they go on the blue connector. So this is all for a blue and red connector. And then, like I said, I got the ground that comes off. It goes up and out to the ground, and then there's also the I think that's it actually. Yeah, like I said, there's a pink wire that comes off of here. I got it running over here to my ignition switch right here, where I have everything else going, or this is my ignition. So once this sends in, it's the same. This wire right here runs to the pink wire that is over there. So if you're not doing this, you would just tap into the same wire that you're supplying to this over here, to your relay. So this wire right here, this little red one, you could just tap in with that right there if you're just looking for a source. So that's all of the wiring part of it. So where you mount it and do whatever you do is all up to you, but I fully recommend that you get all of everything. No breaks in the lines. Now, like I said, I had to wire in this plug over here for this pedal. So let's talk about the pedal real quick. This pedal right here is out of a 2007 Chevy Suburban. It had the 6-liter and everything like that. So it has a different connector than the 2003, and up. So this one is just a bit different, and I actually like the way it feels than the metal one. If this doesn't work, then I'll go with the metal one. But yeah. So this is what we're going to be installing. So let's do it. Okay, so we have the pedal mounted now. As you can see, works great. So this is what I ended up doing. So it's going to be different for you how you go about doing this. You're going to want to basically, you might have to put a hole or two in it. And you know, if you're going to do that, go with some really small self-tappers so that it's not that big of a hole, and some washers, something just so that you can kind of get a feel for how it's going to be. Now you should be able to take some measurements and see how your other one fit, and you know, this one fits just about right here. I mean, you know, so it should be good. Got it all connected everywhere. So once Earl goes to actually start up, she should be ready to go here. I mean, she's got everything she needs now. I mean, I don't know what else. We're running out of stuff to do, you know. But at least now, I literally, it was either this or swap, or you know, write the entire computer. And yeah, I just didn't want to write the entire computer trying to solve an issue where, you know, I just grabbed all this stuff from the junkyard, and it cost me about $80 to do it. Now, like I said, if you've already got the harness, then this is nothing for you. You may still have to put in the pedals, but that's still going to be something where, you know, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's got two holes that hold it in place. So it's got one on the top, and then there's another one up in there, right there. You can barely see it, but it's right up in there. And so, like I said, you're going to do the top one, kind of get a feel. So as you can see with mine is not actually all the way up against it. That's because I wanted it out enough, kind of trying to mimic the stock one as much as possible. So it's pretty close. I mean, sitting right here, it's, you know, it's got, you know, this is full throttle right here, and it's not hitting anything, and I got my brakes right here. So it seems to work out pretty good. I like it, actually. I'm actually liking it, and I kept everything nice and neat. So man, she's ready to go, man. So hopefully this helped you out. You were trying to, you know, convert over to drive-by-wire. Maybe you didn't want to spend the money on another you know, harness again, because those things are pricey, and you just bought one, but you know, you just decided to upgrade to a new engine. Well, you know, here is your way of going about doing it. It's pretty easy, and yeah, I mean, it costs you about $80 to actually get it done, if you've already, you know, if you're in the same boat as I am. Thanks guys for watching. I didn't like the way that went either. Hang on.